Pain is not your enemy. Pain is a signal. Pain is a teacher. Pain is the price of growth. Every strong person you admire has faced pain and chosen not to run from it. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is not talent, luck, or background. It is their relationship with pain. Most people avoid pain at all costs. They avoid discomfort, rejection, failure, and effort. But in doing so, they also avoid growth, strength, and success. When you fear pain, you fear progress. Pain comes in many forms: physical, emotional, mental. The pain of discipline, the pain of disappointment, the pain of pushing beyond what feels comfortable. But here's the truth: the pain you avoid today becomes the regret you live with tomorrow. Growth demands discomfort. Muscles grow through resistance. Confidence grows through challenge. Character is forged in moments when quitting feels easier than continuing. When pain arrives, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this preparing me for? Pain sharpens focus. Pain builds resilience. Pain forces you to discover strength you didn't know you had. If life were always easy, you would never become powerful. Instead of running from pain, learn to use it. Let it fuel your hunger. Let it wake you up. Let it remind you that you are alive and capable of more. Remember this: temporary pain leads to permanent growth, but avoiding pain leads to permanent limitation. Stand up. Face the discomfort. Move forward anyway, because on the other side of pain is the person you were meant to become. Pain is a teacher, not a punishment. Yet most people misunderstand it from the very first moment they experience it. From childhood, we are conditioned to believe that pain means something has gone wrong, that it should be avoided, escaped, or silenced as quickly as possible. But pain does not arrive to destroy you. It arrives to inform you. It is feedback from life itself, a message that something needs attention, growth, adjustment, or courage. When pain shows up, it is not saying you are weak. It is asking you to become stronger. Every meaningful lesson in life carries some degree of discomfort, because real learning does not happen in ease, it happens in tension. Pain exposes the gap between who you are and who you must become, and that gap is where transformation lives. Think about pain as a signal rather than a sentence. When you touch fire, pain teaches you boundaries. When you fail, emotional pain teaches you humility and strategy. When you lose something or someone important, pain teaches you value, gratitude, and depth. If pain were removed from the human experience, growth would disappear with it. Without pain, there would be no urgency to change, no reason to evolve, no pressure to rise. Pain is life's way of saying, pay attention, something here matters. The problem is not pain itself, but the story we tell ourselves about it. When you label pain as punishment, you become a victim. When you label pain as a teacher, you become a student, and students grow. Pain reveals truth. It strips away illusion and comfort and exposes reality exactly as it is. Comfort lies, pain does not. Comfort tells you that you have time, that things will somehow work out without effort, that staying the same is safe. Pain tells you the truth. Something must change. It reveals weak habits, poor decisions, limiting beliefs, and unfulfilled potential. Many people spend their lives running from pain, but in doing so, they run from the very information that could set them free. Pain points directly to what needs work. If you listen instead of resist, pain becomes guidance. Pain also builds awareness. When life is easy, people sleepwalk through their days, repeating patterns without question. Pain wakes you up. It forces reflection. It forces you to ask hard questions about your choices, your priorities, and your direction. Why am I here? Why does this keep happening? What am I avoiding? These questions rarely appear during comfort, but pain demands answers. It slows you down long enough to see yourself clearly, and clarity is power. Without awareness, there is no growth. Pain provides that awareness with ruthless honesty. There is also strength hidden inside pain that cannot be accessed any other way. You do not discover resilience when everything goes right. You discover it when you are tired, disappointed, afraid, or broken, and you keep going anyway. Pain pushes you to find resources within yourself that you didn't know existed. Courage, patience, discipline, self-belief. These qualities are not born in comfort. They are forged in moments of struggle. Pain forces you to expand your capacity. What once felt unbearable becomes manageable. And what once felt impossible becomes achievable. That expansion is growth. Pain teaches responsibility. It shows you the consequences of your actions and inactions. When you experience pain from poor choices, it teaches you wisdom. When you experience pain from effort and discipline, it teaches you pride and self-respect. Not all pain is the same, but all pain has something to teach. The pain of regret teaches you to act sooner. The pain of failure teaches you to prepare better. The pain of discipline teaches you consistency. The pain of loss teaches you appreciation. When you ignore these lessons, pain repeats itself, often louder and more intense, until the message is learned. Pain also reshapes identity. Every time you endure pain and move forward, your self-image changes. You stop seeing yourself as fragile and start seeing yourself as capable. You build trust in yourself. You learn that you can survive discomfort, rejection, uncertainty, and fear. This trust becomes confidence, not the loud kind, but the quiet kind that does not need validation. Pain, when faced, strengthens identity. Pain, when avoided, weakens it. Over time, those who listen to pain become grounded, resilient, and emotionally strong, while those who flee from it remain dependent on comfort and external approval. Another powerful lesson pain teaches is perspective. When you have known pain, small problems no longer control you. You become less reactive, less dramatic, and more focused. Pain matures you. It deepens empathy, because once you have suffered, you understand others who struggle. It humbles you without destroying you. It teaches gratitude for simple things that comfort alone can never provide. People who have faced pain deeply often carry a quiet strength and clarity that cannot be taught through words alone. Pain also teaches commitment. When you are committed to growth, pain becomes part of the process, not a reason to quit. You stop asking how to avoid pain and start asking how to endure it productively. You understand that meaningful goals require sacrifice, effort, and discomfort. Pain becomes proof that you are moving forward, not backward. When resistance appears, it means you are stretching beyond your limits. When pain appears, it means you are alive in the process of becoming more. Ultimately, pain teaches you who you truly are. Not when things are easy, but when they are hard. Not when you are praised, but when you are challenged. Pain reveals character. It shows whether you collapse or rise, complain or adapt, blame or take responsibility. And every time you choose to learn from pain instead of fearing it, you reclaim your power. Pain stops being something that controls you and becomes something that shapes you. Pain is not proof that you are failing. Pain is proof that you are engaged in life. It is not there to break you. It is there to build you. When you stop treating pain as a punishment and start treating it as a teacher, everything changes. Fear dissolves into curiosity. Resistance turns into growth. And what once felt like suffering becomes the foundation of strength, wisdom, and transformation. Avoiding pain feels natural, even logical in the moment. The human mind is wired to seek comfort and escape discomfort. So when pain appears, whether it is the pain of effort, rejection, failure, discipline, or uncertainty, the instinct is to step back. It whispers that there will be a better time, an easier way, a safer moment, and for a while that choice feels good. Comfort provides immediate relief. But what most people do not realize is that comfort always sends the bill later, and that bill is called regret. Regret is a quiet but heavy pain. Unlike physical pain, it does not scream, it lingers. It shows up in moments of silence, late at night, when distractions fade and honesty takes over. Regret is born when you know you could have acted but didn't. When you recognize that fear stopped you, not lack of ability. It is the pain of unrealized potential, of chances ignored, of versions of yourself that never came to life because avoiding discomfort felt easier than facing it. When you avoid pain, you avoid decision. You delay action. You wait for confidence to arrive before moving, not realizing that confidence is built through action, not before it. You avoid the pain of starting, and in doing so, you accept the pain of staying the same. You avoid the pain of hard conversations, and later live with the pain of broken relationships. You avoid the pain of discipline, and later suffer the pain of instability and self-disappointment. Life does not remove pain when you avoid it. It simply replaces short-term pain with long-term pain. Short-term pain has an end. It is intense but temporary. Long-term pain is dull, persistent, and corrosive. The pain of effort lasts hours, days, maybe months. The pain of regret can last years, even a lifetime. The tragedy is that most people only realize this when it is too late to go back. They look at missed opportunities and say, I should have tried, or I was too afraid, or I waited too long. Regret is not caused by failure. It is caused by never trying. Avoiding pain slowly shrinks your world. Each time you choose comfort over courage, your tolerance for discomfort decreases. Things that once felt challenging begin to feel terrifying. The comfort zone becomes smaller, and fear grows larger. Eventually, even small risks feel overwhelming. This is how people become trapped in lives they do not want but feel powerless to change. Not because they are incapable, but because they have practiced avoidance for so long that action feels unnatural. Regret is also deeply connected to identity. When you repeatedly avoid pain, you start to see yourself as someone who does not follow through, someone who plays it safe, someone who settles. This self-image becomes reinforced over time, and once you believe that this is who you are, you stop expecting more from yourself. That belief hurts more than any temporary discomfort ever could. It is painful to live with the thought that you betrayed your own potential. Avoiding pain also steals time, and time is the one resource you never get back. You can recover money, rebuild relationships, even heal wounds, but lost time is gone forever. Many people plan to act one day, not realizing that one day is not a date on the calendar. Pain avoidance creates delay, and delay turns into years. Regret grows heavier when you realize that the opportunity required action when you were younger, bolder, or freer. The pain you avoided cost you time, and time is priceless. There is also a deep emotional cost to avoidance. When you know what you should do and choose not to do it, inner conflict begins. You feel tension between who you are and who you know you could be. This tension creates anxiety, dissatisfaction, and a constant feeling of being behind in life. Even if everything looks fine on the outside, something feels wrong on the inside. That feeling is the weight of unexpressed courage. Avoiding pain teaches the wrong lesson. It trains the mind to associate growth with danger and comfort with safety. But comfort does not equal safety. It often equals stagnation. Growth always requires discomfort, and the sooner this truth is accepted, the lighter life becomes. Those who embrace short-term pain move forward with fewer regrets because they know they honored their values, even when it was hard. Even when they fail forward without shame because they had the courage to try. Regret also comes from watching others live the life you secretly wanted. Seeing someone else succeed in an area where you hesitated is painful, not because of jealousy, but because it reminds you of your own inaction. It highlights the cost of playing safe. This kind of pain is avoidable, but only through action. Taking risks does not guarantee success, but avoiding them almost guarantees regret. Choosing pain now is an act of self-respect. It means you value your future more than your present comfort. It means you are willing to endure temporary discomfort for long-term fulfillment. People who live without regret are not fearless. They are simply more afraid of staying the same than of being uncomfortable. They understand that pain is part of the price of becoming who they want to be. In the end, life will challenge you no matter what. Pain is unavoidable, but regret is optional. You can choose the pain of effort, honesty, discipline, and growth, or you can choose the pain of wishing you had tried. One leads to expansion, pride, and strength. The other leads to limitation, frustration, and silent suffering. When you look back on your life, the moments that will hurt the most will not be the times you failed, but the times you never stepped forward. Avoiding pain may feel like protection, but in reality, it is the slowest way to hurt yourself. Growth is impossible without discomfort, yet this truth is one of the hardest for people to accept. The mind naturally seeks familiarity, safety, and ease, but growth lives on the opposite side of those instincts. Every time you grow, something old must be stretched, challenged, or left behind. That stretching is uncomfortable. That challenge creates resistance. That letting go creates uncertainty. Discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is changing. When life feels uncomfortable, it often means you are standing at the edge of expansion. Nothing in nature grows without resistance. Muscles grow by tearing under strain and rebuilding stronger. Bones grow denser under pressure. Even diamonds are formed through extreme heat and pressure. Human growth follows the same law. When you push beyond your current limits, mentally, emotionally, physically, you experience discomfort because your old capacity is no longer sufficient. That discomfort is not harm, it is adaptation and progress. Avoiding it keeps you exactly where you are. Discomfort challenges identity. When you try something new, fail publicly, or step into unfamiliar territory, your ego feels threatened. You are no longer protected by what you know. You are forced to confront uncertainty, self-doubt, and fear of judgment. This is why growth feels risky. It asks you to act before you feel ready, to move before you feel confident, and to trust yourself without guarantees. But readiness and confidence are not prerequisites for growth, they are outcomes of it. You become ready by starting. You become confident by surviving discomfort. Discomfort also rewires belief systems. Many people believe they are limited because they have never tested their limits. Comfort keeps beliefs small. Discomfort challenges them. When you do something hard and survive it, your brain updates its understanding of what is possible. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. What once felt impossible becomes familiar. Growth expands your sense of self, but only if you are willing to tolerate the discomfort that comes with expansion. There is a critical difference between pain that destroys and discomfort that develops. Discomfort has purpose. It is aligned with effort, learning, and improvement. It does not mean you are harming yourself. It means you are investing in yourself. The discomfort of discipline leads to stability. The discomfort of honesty leads to stronger relationships. The discomfort of failure leads to wisdom. The discomfort of consistency leads to mastery. Without discomfort, there is no momentum, only maintenance. Growth also requires discomfort because it demands responsibility. When you step outside comfort, you can no longer blame circumstances, habits, or other people. You are forced to confront your choices directly. This accountability is uncomfortable, but it is empowering. It places control back in your hands. Comfort allows excuses to survive. Discomfort exposes them. Growth begins the moment excuses end. Discomfort teaches patience. Real growth does not happen overnight. It unfolds through repeated effort, setbacks, and slow progress. This process can feel frustrating, especially in a world addicted to instant results. Discomfort forces you to sit with uncertainty and keep going without immediate rewards. It teaches you to trust the process, to measure progress not by comfort, but by consistency. Those who quit too soon often mistake discomfort for failure, when in reality it is proof that growth is underway. Discomfort also builds emotional strength. When you allow yourself to experience difficult emotions instead of escaping them, you become emotionally resilient. You learn that emotions rise and fall, that fear does not last forever, and that discomfort is survivable. This resilience becomes a powerful asset in every area of life. You stop being controlled by mood, motivation, or circumstance. You act based on values, not comfort. One of the greatest dangers of avoiding discomfort is stagnation disguised as stability. Life may appear calm on the surface, but beneath it, dissatisfaction grows. When you stop growing, you start decaying, not immediately, but gradually. Energy fades, passion weakens, curiosity disappears. You may feel safe, but you feel unfulfilled. This quiet emptiness is often the result of long-term comfort. Growth restores aliveness, and aliveness requires discomfort. Discomfort sharpens focus. When you are challenged, distractions lose power. You become present, you pay attention, growth demands engagement, and discomfort pulls you into the moment. Comfort allows the mind to wander. Discomfort demands awareness. This heightened focus accelerates learning and self-discovery. You learn what matters and what does not. You learn what you are capable of under pressure. Growth through discomfort also creates self-respect. When you do hard things consistently, you build trust with yourself. You know that you will show up even when it is uncomfortable. This trust becomes inner confidence, not arrogance, not loud motivation, but a quiet certainty that you can handle whatever comes next. That confidence cannot be borrowed, taught, or given. It is earned through discomfort. Discomfort is also temporary, but the results of growth are lasting. The pain of effort fades. The pride of progress remains. The discomfort of learning passes. The skill stays. The discomfort of courage ends. The expanded identity remains. When you look back, you rarely regret the moments you were uncomfortable for the sake of growth. You regret the moments you chose comfort instead. Ultimately, growth requires discomfort because growth is change. And change challenges everything familiar. If you wait for comfort before growing, you will wait forever. Growth begins the moment you accept discomfort as part of the journey, not an obstacle to it. When you stop asking how to stay comfortable and start asking how to grow, life opens in powerful ways. Discomfort is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are moving forward. The path of growth is rarely easy, but it is always worth it. Every strong, capable, fulfilled version of yourself is built through moments when you chose discomfort over convenience. When you embrace discomfort, you embrace growth, and growth is the true measure of a meaningful life.